You are tuned in to the Love Success Summit. I'm your host, Ravid Yosef, dating and relationship coach of Love Life TBD. And I, along with over 20 experts, will be teaching you how to open up your heart, let go of the past, and finally find love that lasts. Hello, everyone. Today's expert is Riana Milne, a certified global relationship, love, and life coach, and a #1 best-selling author of Love Beyond Your Dreams, Break Free of Toxic Relationships to Have the Love You Deserve, and Live Beyond Your Dreams, From Fear and Doubt to Personal Power, Purpose, and Success. She addresses life transitions and relationships with yourself and others. You can also catch her soon on her new TV show, Radical Dating. Hello, Riana. How are you today?
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me, Ravid.
I'm really good. Thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know you and how you came to be a love and life coach.
Sure, of course. Well, first of all, the TV show Radical Dating, the second part is Finding Love Over 40. So if any of your audience hears this, we are still taking applications for the show. We are looking for a single mom yet and a straight male. So we have a gay male selected and 2 other women, so we need 2 more contestants. And then we're taping the whole series in LA. So that's been quite fun. I'm one of 5 coaches, so I'm really excited about who I will be assigned for my clients. So they just go to radicaldating.com to apply. It's free to apply. And, go for it. So we need 2 more people. I'm also a licensed mental health counselor and have been in private practice as an LMHC and an LPC, which is out of New Jersey, for 16 years. I had my private practice near Atlantic City in a town called ACOUA Township. And I'm also an LCADC and in Florida a CAP, which stands for Certified Addictions Professional. So the information we decided to chat about today comes from a lot of my psychology background that will help your listeners with their dating. And I became a coach in 2009 and 10, actually as a response that Obamacare was coming, believe it or not. And I was tired of all the rules and the restrictions of therapy because I love to coach my people from around the world. I use Skype. I've used it for years. And I wanted it to be worked around a program that I created and did research. So my love book that went to #1 on Amazon for couples therapy and women in spirituality, and #2 in psychology, that is based in psychology and a coaching model, both. And it has about 180 research sources cut into it and a great reference section. And they're sold, both my books are sold in Barnes & Noble stores across the U.S. and on Amazon everywhere. So that's kind of how I became a coach. I just wanted more of this freedom. I wanted to create a couple of books. I've always been a writer since I've been young. And then I wrote my 200-page workbook manual. There is one for singles looking for love and one for couples called Relationship Rescue who are looking to fix love. So both get a notebook and then both get both live and love, because the live book is about a positive mindset, which is so important when you're out there dating and looking for love, because people feel your energy. So you want your energy and your mindset to be positive and outgoing. I mean, my love of my life, Joey, has stopped me, he said, because, wow, are you spiritual? Because your aura is amazing. Like, you have such amazing energy around you. And that was a great opening line, because I am spiritual, and I was actually meditating and asking for a beautiful spiritual man, and I got one. So, so life is good. And I want to encourage all your listeners that love is out there. The world is abundant. It's right around the corner. I met Joe in a parking lot walking to my car. Actually after a date where the guy lied and said his age was 59 and he was actually 69, and I said, he lies about that, what else is he going to lie about? So I do want to also advise your listeners, don't lie on your profile, because that really sets a bad example. Be yourself, be proud of who you are, be your best authentic single self, and get on out there and date. So That's a little bit
Yes.
about my background. I have two amazing daughters, too, 33 and 34. Alexi Panos, who is a world-renowned speaker and writer also, and Stefana Panos, whose family also lives in Orlando. So my office is in Delray Beach, Florida.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing all of that. So today we're going to talk about breaking free from toxic relationships. And there are a few personality types that you have identified that we should be looking for. Can you tell us a little bit more about them and some of the red flags that the women listening can look for?
Yes. Now, I have like a sentence or two, just a quick summary to tell your listeners, but it goes into, it's an easy read. It's not psychobabble in my book. So it's really important to have successful dating by knowing what to avoid. So if you don't, if you already know up front, there's like 14 different personality types that I describe that are troublesome in relationships. So I'll start out. The first one is the emotional manipulators. So we'll start with a narcissistic person. And they have a huge sense of self-importance. They're arrogant. They seek excessive admiration from others. They often take advantage of others for their own gain. They lack empathy. And, of course, they're power hungry and selfish. So a narcissistic person will always put themselves first, and you're just an accessory. So you got to be careful of that one. This is another difficult one to treat and to have a relationship with. It's borderline personality disorder. And you're going to see with someone like this impulsive behavior, whether it's regarding sex, spending, eating, substance abuse. They're very unstable regarding their self-image. 1 minute they're confident, and next they're like, don't think they're good enough, so they do things to sabotage your relationship. They have a lot of abandonment issues usually and unstable moods and often a lot of paranoid thinking about their partner. So they're very hard to work with. The third one that's difficult is the bipolar personality disorder, and that used to be called manic depressive. Because you'll see both sides in a person. The manic side is very impulsive. They do risky choices. They have racing thoughts. This is someone who usually talks too fast and often and is easily distracted. And then the depressive side of that coin is hard to focus on things they should be focusing on, low energy, feeling worthless. And, they're also, again, there's medication for borderline and bipolar. There is not any for narcissistic personality disorder. The second grouping I call con artists, and there are 3 of them. One is the antisocial personality disorder, and they have like total disregard for someone's safety. They're easily angered and abusive, often very promiscuous, high sex drive. They're very often compulsive liars. They cheat, and they lack empathy for your pain. Very difficult person to date. Sociopaths, believe it or not, there's a lot of them out there. 1 in 25 people are defined as sociopathic. So these people are deceitful. They have repetitive lying. They con other people for pleasure or profit, looking to rip people off. They're irritable. They can be aggressive, impulsive, and they always have a lot of poor choices that eventually affect you. And when they make these mistakes, they totally lack remorse. They just don't care. So that's someone who is emotionally not able to connect well. So you're always going to have a trouble with the sociopath. And the psychopath, they're not as common. They are the violent sociopath. And there is a person that kills others with ease or no remorse. So hopefully we're not coming across any of those when we date, but they're out there. So there are definitely things to look for, like I said, described in the Love Beyond Your Dreams book. The next category that's difficult to date is the addicted. So anyone that has this uncontrollable dependence on a chemical substance, a habit, a practice, and of course these are often kept secret. So whether it's smoking pot, having sex behind your back, looking at porn, gambling, alcohol, pills, food, spending is another one. It always involves lying, mood swings, anger, sneaky behavior. Very often they isolate from others. And I always say this line, what they crave will always come first before you, the partner. The addiction will always come first. So it's a very difficult person to love. I often get the question when someone's been through rehab, where is it a safe zone? It's usually 6 months clean, and also doing some work with you, the partner, because there's usually underlying personality stuff that has to be dealt with in coaching or counseling to help them get beyond and never go to another addiction again. And very often addictions come in twos. So if they're addicted to sex, they usually have alcohol. If it's alcohol, they often have cocaine. You know what I mean? So there's usually two different things that come in with the addiction piece. This is one, the next one, a lot of people have not heard of, but I talk about it a lot. Have become an expert in this area. And this is not even described in the DSM-IV, which is the psychotherapist handbook when we have to give codes for insurance, but it should be in there. It's called the ACOUA personality type. And that stands for Adult Child of an Alcoholic or Any Children of Trauma. And there is 9 traumas. And I can go into them later if you'd like, but a couple of them is a child that grew up with abandonment issues, verbal abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse and neglect, a parent with an addiction, and so on. And there's 9 of those. But kids form triggers that stay in the neuropsychology. And when they are confronted as an adult in an adult love relationship, these traumas and triggers usually come out. So, somebody says they were so perfect in the beginning, the first month or two, they were wonderful. By the 3rd month to the 6th month, they often will, slip. They're trying to be on their best behavior, but they might shut down and become passive aggressive. They may have an addiction to help soothe their nerves. The ACOA usually has ongoing anxiety in their life. And there's usually a lot of cheap drama that they grew up with, so that is their normal. So you might see somebody prone to a lot of yelling or a lot of dramatics. These are often ACOA personality types. Can this stuff be fixed? Yes. I describe it like a rainbow. On the other side of the learning curve is a pot of gold. They're starting way at the beginning side with me, and they will learn a lot in my coaching program. And the programs I offer are 90 days or 6 months. And the 90 days is usually for a single, and a couple usually enrolls in the 6 month program because I have more people to help. Let's say a man, a woman, and the relationship. So that's 3 entities that I'm coaching. So the ACOA work is really quite intensive that I do for my clients that come in. They are prone to very low self-esteem, perfectionism. They have conflicted relationships. They have a high need for approval, can be very impulsive. And again, the coping mechanism that they used as a child often comes out, which is like lying to get out of something that they may have caused. A risky choice. There's a lot of risky choices going on with the ACOA. So that's one that you really want to know more about because not too many people talk about it. The next one is pretty obvious. It's the chronic cheater. They have emotional or sexual affairs, and that's either live or on the internet or in chat rooms. And, Facebook is a huge, huge reason for relationship problems. And guys could say, well, she's just a friend. I just talked to her. I just text with her. Well, that's an emotional connection. And someone you're talking to every day is a relationship. Someone that might call you twice a year saying Merry Christmas and Happy Birthday, that's a friendship that understands their boundaries, that you're in a relationship. They're not going to be calling you all the time. They're not going to be texting you. It's just not proper. If you're in a relationship, whether it's a gay or heterosexual relationship, your partner comes first. And, I have this saying, it's you and me against the world. And you're very protective of that world, and you want to be very cautious that nobody enters that world. So I have more to go over. Do you want me to talk about them, or do you want me to move forward?
Yeah, let's talk about some things that came up for me there. I want to talk about the narcissistic personality for a little bit,
Sure.
just because it's become such a overly used word, in my opinion, right now in pop culture, where everyone is a narcissist. And, having some narcissistic characteristics is a good thing. It's confidence. But then how do we identify the person that has some narcissistic characteristics because they're very confident and sure of themselves versus the narcissist who is won't be able to have a relationship?
Well, like a good narcissist could be defined as Oprah. She's always helping others, but she was always, out there promoting herself. But in turn, her being able to promote herself helps so many others. So that we would call a healthy narcissism. Someone that could be unhealthy narcissistic has her thing, Donald Trump. Elliot Fitzer, who again is caught in sexual affairs with no remorse for the people that he's hurting, his wife and family, so these are people who are more dangerous and very hard to love, when it's so obvious it's about them first.
Yeah, no, that's really great examples for everybody to pay attention to, because it is okay to have some of those. I have narcissistic characteristics that I did a test. Yes.
Me too. I'm confident because, I love my life and I love what I do to help others, so having a sense of confidence is a great thing. It's all part of your energy as well. But, I often think is this good for my partner and I? The weekends are for my partner and I. So it's making sure that your partner has enough time and your energy and devotion. That's basically it. And you're not looking to hurt others for your own gain.
Yes, exactly. And I want to make sure that everybody knows the difference between that, because the word is thrown a lot in articles. And are you dating a narcissist? And people are starting to just call everybody narcissist. And really it is a small, a true narcissist is a very small portion of the society.
It becomes very obvious after a while. If you're watching the debates, it becomes very obvious.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So you gave us a lot of red flags to look for. And I love that you brought up the ACLAs, because I often think, that's probably most of the people who are having issues getting into relationships. There may be some things that they need to look at within themselves to see if they have that pattern. How can they become more aware within their own life if this is what's showing up for them, if they're an ACLA?
Well, I always say, I always say you have to be a successful single first. And there's areas I call life spheres that I go into with my clients in their life coaching portion of my program. So even though I have people looking for love and wanting to date, we do life coaching first, because I want to make sure they are totally together and confident with who they are first. So here are some of the life spheres. First of all, we look at finances. If you have a healthy credit score of at least 740, no credit card debt, no outstanding bills or loans unless it's like a car loan or a house loan. If you're older, you have plans for retirement. So personally, you feel secure about where you are in life. You're not looking for someone out of desperation or I need to be taken care of financially. You're not looking for that. You already have that for yourself. So that's an important one. Health, are you at the ideal weight? Do you exercise on a regular basis? Not drinking too much alcohol, eating healthy foods, so that you're getting, 7 to 8 hours of sleep. You feel energized, vibrant. I also add in that meditation, vitamins, healthy mind, body, and spirit. So those are all really important. Career, you want to be happy with where you are, because if you're in a career that you hate, you're going to bring that home every day to your partner. And you may, say, what, I'm going to look for an advancement in my career and I want to move to a sunny state. I want to move to Florida. So do that first. And there's going to be times where it's not ideal to date. So don't do that. When I moved from Atlantic City to Delray Beach for my practice, I went from a booming practice in New Jersey to, 0 clients except my coaching clients, starting a new practice. So then was not the time for me to start dating and meeting people around Delray. It's time to focus on me, my practice, my clients, making sure who I had was served well. So there is time to date and not to date. But you want to make sure you're happy with your career and where you're living, or move into it when you're not in a relationship. Family relationships, make sure everything is great with your kids, your parents, your siblings. You don't want to bring any cheap drama into your relationship. And I see a lot of couples with those kind of messes. Friendships, you want to have a great relationship with both men and female friends. Active social life, you want to be getting out doing things that you love, and that's the best place to meet somebody. At doing a hobby, a sport, or even a cooking class, something that you would enjoy, and you meet somebody there. I add spiritual connection because I am spiritually based, and I think it's one of the most important elements for a happy, lifelong relationship. Research shows that a couple that practices faith together, no matter what it is, even if it's not defined, but it's a spirituality type thing, they get along best. And people with a spiritual, faith-based nature usually have more honesty and integrity about themselves and accountability, which are three huge things of character that are important for a successful relationship. So you want to try to read a little bit more. Like I said, my Live Beyond Your Dreams book is how to have a positive mindset based in spirituality. It also helps decrease depression. And when you meditate, this isn't meditation, it's under spiritual connection too. Science has shown it lessens anxiety, decreases depression, lowers cortisol levels, which keeps weight on, lowers blood pressure, and increases the serotonin and dopamine levels of the brain, which are your happy feel-good chemicals. So 15 minutes of meditation, and there's a way that I teach it to my clients, but it works for them, and they feel a huge difference in the state of calm that they have. So meditation's a real good bonus. Environment and home, and I don't know if you know, Rabbit, I just moved like a month ago, so we have been doing building and remodeling, and I just had a good friend of mine see my house the other day, and they're like, oh my God, Rihanna, this is like so beautiful. It's just a ranch, but it's on a lake, and I have a big Florida room with all glass, and it's just so serene and peaceful. So you want to love your environment. You want to make sure it's decorated in cheerful colors. My colors are white and turquoise. It feels good to come home. It's peaceful. It's comfortable. People love it the moment they walk in. So feng shui, if you know anything about it, you know how to set up a house to make it feel, even your apartment, a condo apartment, just to feel decluttered and welcoming and warm. Very important to your peace of mind. And make it romantic. Make your home ready for that romantic partner. So get rid of anything old, ugly. Same as your closet. If you want some love in your life, you want to put your best part out there. So make sure your home's together. You want to eventually invite a date back to, invite them for drinks or dinner, then you want your home to be ready. Altruism, giving back to others, education. It's so important to keep learning, keep bettering yourself through more self-study, formal education. Taking on a new hobby is a great place to meet people. I hear people say, oh, I want to write a book. Do it. Just do it. It just starts with outlining your table of contents and then move forward. So take that on. It's a great time to write when you're not with somebody because it takes a ton of time. I can tell you that. So being a great relationship is very important that you're a great partner yourself. So don't look for the other guy to be perfect unless you're putting your best stuff out there. So your life spheres 0 to 100%, with 100 being perfect. You should feel about 90 in all those life spheres that I just mentioned. You should feel really terrific about your life. And then your energy is just out there. And, once I coach people that, get your life together first, feel amazing about your life, and the rest just falls into place, it really does happen that way. I didn't meet Joey online, although I had online profiles. I told friends I was looking to meet people. I go out to places I like to go to because I love seafood and sushi and wherever, and I love to dance, so I go to dance places. So I would go where I would like to go, and then if I'm meeting someone that they already have that activity in common, So, but you can meet somebody standing in line at Starbucks. So the key is, and I put all my people through this exercise, I say start saying hello to everyone. The guy at the gas station, the lady at the checkout, to start having a conversation with her. Say hello to everyone. And then it becomes just so easy My last partner I dated for a while, I just said hello on the beach and I said, God, it's a beautiful day, isn't it? And that started a 4-hour conversation. And I was just feeling great about life because it was a beautiful sunny day at the beach. So you can meet anyone anywhere if your head is up and your confidence is on and your inner light is shining. It's a beacon. And you will attract, some wonderful people into your life. So, should I get into how some people may attract a toxic partner? Because I hear over
that
and
was
over.
going to be my next question. Like, why would we be attracting those types of toxic relationships into our lives, those people?
Okay. When a couple comes in, I usually see one doing very toxic behavior and one is like trying like crazy, good-hearted, loving, tries to do everything to keep the peace in the relationship, keeps the home in order, whatever, and then the other one's kind of a loose cannon. So there's 3 reasons I listed here. There's many more, and I usually define it with the couple or the person that's right in front of me once I do the personality profile and know a little bit more about their childhood upbringing. So it's different for everybody, Rabbit. That's the best way for me to describe it. But here's 3 examples. 1, you also are an ACOA, a child of trauma. So you're comfortable with the childhood norm of the street drama going on around you. Mom and dad fighting, a lot of yelling in the house, that's normal. So if you're yelling, that's an ACOA trait. And you can consciously change it. That's called living consciously with what we do to change people's toxic behaviors. So everyone can change them. You just have to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and you can't change what you don't understand. So that's where my psychology comes into my coaching. And so one or both of your parents was toxic. That's example 1. The second one is subconsciously you want to fix the other person, which fixes your childhood angst or woes, and you're falling in love with their potential. You're seeing all the good stuff. You're trying to forget the bad stuff or not focus on the bad stuff. Or he's got amazing potential, but the potential never comes to be. And then you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting. These are the relationships that usually fall apart about 8 months to a year when the promises fall short, it doesn't happen, and the healthy partner becomes disillusioned, says, I can't do this anymore, which is fine. Sometimes it takes a while to see this, and everybody wants to give someone a chance, but if it's not coming together, then you've got to protect yourself and move on. The third one is you're very flattered by the rush of attention early on. Again, the ACOA and a lot of people from trauma love to give and get attention. So they're overly affectionate. They can't do enough for you in the beginning. So that rush of attention and love and all these texts, honestly, it's a red flag if it's too much. Like, why are they so needy initially? But after the initial love fest, you'll hang on despite clear warning signs of trouble, or you're seeing toxic personality traits, but you're hanging on because the sex is good or because of the beginning was so romantic and you have that romantic story that you keep trying to recreate for yourselves. But meanwhile, there's a lot of yelling, or there's over drinking, or there's just toxic stuff going on. And a lot of people come to me first, like, not sure if they're going to stay in the relationship. Like my one girl, she's got a beautiful testimonial on my website, RianaMilne.com. Her name is Erin, and she came in dating a guy for 7 years. She says, all I want is the engagement ring. I want to be married. I want to have kids. I'm getting older. This is ridiculous, but he gambles. He drinks. He had all this toxic stuff, and I just sat there and I said, you sure you want to be engaged? I said, we can make that happen. I'm going to help you make that happen. But in the meanwhile, I'm asking you to have an open mind, and I want you to watch very carefully. So I told her what to start watching for. She did get a ring in a couple of months from that session. She was a 6-month client of mine. And I said, now, the engagement ring doesn't mean it's permanent. It's a testing period. You're engaged, not looking to date anyone else. You are exclusive. Your heart's exclusive. Fabulous. But you can always break the engagement. If you're not happy for some reason, you give the ring back. Okay? So keep watching and keep, getting your intuition very keen to what's going on. Long story short, she ends up feeling really strange one night. He's, quote, going out with the boys again. He seemed a little bit edgier. She decided to follow him. Ends up, he goes into a strip club. She gave it like 45 minutes. She called a girlfriend for backup, which I told her to do. Don't go in there alone. Get a backup. Girlfriend came up. They went in together, and there was a girl sitting on his lap, rubbing all over him, kissing him. Like it was just, she goes, the last thing I had to see. That was it for me. So she goes, I'm done. Have your ring back. And she moved forward. Then the rebuilding process went, and we kept rebuilding her and getting her confidence up and her life spheres up. Now she's dating a very successful attorney that's been on ABC News several times with his cases. They just had a baby boy. She's happy as can be. She travels the world. She was a gorgeous girl when she walked in there. Now her light is just shining so bright. Everything came together for her. So I took her where she was in her process of not sure if that relationship was good or bad, but she wanted to be engaged. We got her there. And then I said, keep going. Let's just keep going. Because I knew, like, when she walked in, it was probably going to be doomed, but she needed to know for herself,
Yeah, and sometimes that conflict is, I want this thing, I've invested so much time in it, and so I'm willing to settle for it, even though it's not what you actually need or truly want in your life. It's just you don't want to have that time wasted that you invested into this person.
Yeah,
let it go. Or
I'm there. Yes, you do.
Let go, because she may have wasted those 7 years, but she would have wasted the rest of her life being in a relationship with a person who wasn't right for her. So what are some of the ways that we can start letting go of toxic patterns and relationships in our lives?
Sure. Okay. Well, you attract where you are in your life. So that's why being successful in your life spheres is so important first. That's why I do a month and a half of life coaching first. And people love it. They get it. Like, oh, wow, I do have to work on this and this and this. So by the time we get to the dating portion, they are so ready to go. I do, image makeovers for everyone because I used to be a model and talent agent and have a school. So I'm used to doing makeovers for everybody as well. So we have to deal with any of your childhood traumas, and most people have a couple of traumas in their life. Erin had that. She had a traumatic childhood, and that's why she was attracting trauma. So we had to work through that first. And then, so that's the first step. Definitely, read Love Beyond Your Dreams in its entirety. So it's like the guidebook love is what everyone calls it. So know what to look for to have an emotionally healthy and evolved relationship, and totally what to avoid and what the red flags are. You want to know the questions to ask on a first date, and I list many of them in my book. But here's one, for example. Tell me about where you grew up. Like, what are your parents like, and do you have siblings? So this is a very common question, but you're going to ask it and listen very carefully for any of the childhood traumas of the ACOA. So if you hear, my dad was an alcoholic, he was verbally mean to me, red flag. Or I hate my sister, I haven't talked to her in years, something's going on there, or if it's overly embellished, I had the perfect childhood, everything was great. That's a little bit of a red flag too. So the second question could be, what's your happiest childhood experience, and what's one that was like one of your worst? What happened? So you're asking questions, and it doesn't come off like you're a reporter. It's just questions to ask. And I always advise my person, don't drink more than 2 drinks when you're out dating. You want to be watching body language. You want to watch the face. You really want to listen and pay attention to what you're hearing. That's really important. So that's another one. Once you are dating, you want to know the red flag warnings. They're all listed in my book. There's a bunch of them. And then there's 14 dating traps. And it's funny, I just wrote an article. I forgot to say I'm a columnist for a couple of newspapers down here, the Pineapple. And that's my article for November about the dating traps. So you can find that online in November. And I usually post those also on my Facebook, which is Coach Riana Milne. So any of the listeners want to read articles or see videos, certainly please like my page. That would be awesome. I Coach Riana Milne on Facebook. And there's a ton of articles, too, and videos also on my website because I'm really pro-education. Another one is be sure that you are not codependent, love addicted, and have a healthy self-esteem. So some people aren't sure what codependency is. I have a checklist of like 23 things. If you're doing this, if 1 or 2 is not bad, but if you're seeing 9, 10, 15, you're a codependent and you're going to need some coaching to get beyond that. or love addicted to somebody. You don't want to be, if you're a female, you don't want to be the chaser. You want to choose, but what you've chosen someone and you're dating men, and if you chose a man, then you want him to be the pursuer. I know it's a little old-fashioned. Yes, I'm in my 50s. But psychologically, the old caveman brain wants to win the woman. Okay? He wants to be the guy that wins you from the others. It's psychological. They're hardwired. And women, cave woman brain, is hardwired to find someone she feels safe and secure with. So you're not going to know that until time goes on. So 90 days is the benchmark, not to be too intimate. I know it's hard, it's 3 months, but really try to push out your dates, maybe just 2 a week, talk a lot, email and that type of thing, or text. But don't do a lot of texting before you meet a date. If you're dating online, do a couple of emails, meet in a public place. I always say don't go for a meal, a lunch or a dinner. Go for either a coffee or a drink, and meet someone for an hour. Because if you don't like them, you're not trapped. If you like them, they can always offer you some appetizers, and they should, or dinner. So if you go to a bar restaurant, that's always a good place to go. Okay, back to breaking the pattern. I could ramble on forever, Rabbit. I'm sorry. There's so much information in my head, you can tell.
Yes, I love that. Breaking the pattern. If we could give them one skill, one tool to break a pattern, be aware.
Do Google searches on anyone you're going to date, and if you're going to live with someone, definitely have a cohabitation agreement. And if you're going to marry, have a prenup. Have a strong support systems, your friends and family. They always know you best. You want to know your requirements, needs, wants, and desires. Those are 4 things, and that's one thing we coach everybody on. What are your requirements? For example, those are deal breakers. So if you're a woman who's 30 and you say, I definitely want to have children, you definitely don't want to be dating a guy that's not sure if he wants kids or definitely says no to kids. You're not going to change his mind. You're going to be disappointed and wasting your time. So with my client, I, definitely clearly define their requirements, their wants, their needs, and desires for a partner. And then they kind of have a roadmap, and they don't want to settle, but at the same time, they want to have an open mind. They don't want to be so glued to a list that they meet nobody. So you have to have an open mind. You have to have a sense of faith that, you're meeting a lot of people. Give people a chance. Be open. Give them a chance. But know your red flag list. Know your requirements, So these are all the tools that I arm my client with before they get out there. And then enjoy your life alone. Develop your hobbies, your friends, educate yourself, travel, and get to the point where you really feel okay about being alone and you're not coming from a place of neediness or desperation, which most people, men especially, can smell a mile away. So you want to feel great about you and your life. So would you like to know what a healthy, evolved relationship looks like, since we talked about toxic?
Yes, I would. What does love success in a relationship look like for us?
Okay. Well, everyone, again, has their own requirements, needs, and desires. So it's going to look different for everyone, right? But you want to define that. What are you particularly looking for? There are some things that are general, though, however. You and me against the world is a concept that the couple lives by. Both of you feel safe and cherished. You're not concerned about your partner when you're away from the home. There is no jealousy. There's a healthy feeling of we've got each other. There is a balance, like an equilateral triangle of you, me, and us. So you is your daily life with your career, your friends, your hobbies. He's got his. And then together you have good quality time. You make sure you carve out quality time. And I have another one. Be what you want to attract and be emotionally healthy. So example, if you want a financially secure partner, you have to have that area of your life together first. So, if you want someone financially successful, you be financially successful. If you want someone that is loves to dance, then, you love to dance. So it's just be what you want to attract. Your top 5 to 6 requirements are definitely met. and everyone's requirements will be different. We have a list of like 150 words, and you pick like the top 10 that resonate with you, and then go down to your top 5 that you will not bend on. And for example, for me, like I can trust him. He's addiction free. They work hard and are financially secure. These are requirements that are deal breakers. So if you don't get them from your partner, you would leave the relationship. So they're really important that you define them. Another one that's really important, that you're getting emotional and functional needs met. So an example of meeting someone's functional needs is I recently had a couple in my office, and she is a doctor and she works very hard helping the sick and dying. So she has a stressful job, and he's a dentist. But then she comes home and cooks the meals for the kids and then cleans the house and has no personal time, and they have not dated in months. And he's complaining that they're not intimate. Well, her functional needs are not being met. The triangle of balance is way askew. She has no me time and they have no us time. So this is, where we had to get things back in balance, and I had him totally revamping what he was doing to help with the kids and cleaning the home. And I said, this is not the 1950s. This is not Ozzie and Harriet. Your wife is bringing home a large portion of your salary. It has to be equal in your household. So, that's an example of a functional need. And then another one, the last one, which is most important, that I prepared to share, is make sure you have a shared vision of your future life together and individually. So you're going to have some future goals, like maybe the next cool vacation to take. And then individually, like, for example, me taking this TV show out in LA. I wanted to make sure my partner supported that decision. And Joe was great. He goes, this is wonderful for you. I totally support you. Enjoy it. And however I can help make this successful, do it. So you need that partner to be on your side as you're going through those types of individual goals. And 5 elements in general for a successful relationship. And there's many. There's over 16 mentioned in my book. But for time, there's a few here.
That's a great start for everybody. That's a great start for everybody to pay attention to. And we are running a bit out of time. I know you have a free gift for everybody. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, sure. Okay. So, yes, to make sure you know what successful relationships are, the elements, there's a lot of them mentioned. So if you go on my website, RianaMilne.com, you will see downloadables that are free of my 2 books, Live Beyond Your Dreams, From Fear and Doubt to Personal Power, Purpose, and Success, and Love Beyond Your Dreams, Break Free of Toxic Relationships to How to Love You Deserve. So there are free downloads there. If you email me at RianaMilne@gmail.com, it's my name, RianaMilne, I give a $100 discount to my home study course that is online, advertised for $497. Due to this summit, Love Success Summit, and Ravid's contacts with you, you can get that with $100 off. So just contact me, say you heard me on Ravid's show, the Love Success Summit, and you will instantly get $100 off. That's just RianaMilne@gmail. And anyone who would like a free coaching strategy session with me, if you live in the USA, that can be by phone or Skype. If you're outside of the USA, it should be by Skype. My Skype name is Coach Riana Milne, but just sign up for a session at my website. I will get an email right away. You can tell me a little bit about your dating or love concern, and I would be giving you, up to an hour of free coaching with a strategy session that's worth $250. So,
thank you for being so giving and offering so much. We appreciate that, and you for sharing so much information today. I thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me, Rabbit, and waiting through the hurricane and my flu after coming back from LA last week. I really appreciate your patience, and I really want to say to all your listeners, it's time to have the love you deserve. Be prepared for it. Psych yourself up for it. The world is abundant and your partner is out there. So don't give up.
Thank you for listening. I'll be back again tomorrow with another interview from the Love Success Summit at lovelifetbd.com.